Okay, everyone, I'm here and I'm ready to go. Just waiting on some people to join up, but I'm gonna probably get started without y'all. So just hop on whenever you're ready and we'll get to some CSS. I'm gonna be working on one of my frameworks, which is an old CSS, the most mature of my frameworks so far. And then I'm gonna be jumping into some freestyling, doing whatever I feel like in CSS. So stick around and let's see what happens. But I welcome your questions and feedback and whatever else you want to drop on me in the chat. I very much look forward to hearing from you. And if you have any tips or anything you want to share as well, you can do that. I welcome those also. You can check out my website. It is visible on screen currently. rolandixor.pro/streaming. I just updated it and it looks pretty slick, so you can check that out. And you can learn some CSS from it as well. It's based on a template that I'm working on, but the template is not released yet. You can take a look at the code, just don't copy it. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to pause talking, and the next thing you're going to see probably is me working on some CSS. A small note, I'm not using GNOME shell today, so resizing these windows is going to be a little more tricky than it usually is, but hopefully I shouldn't have any problems and no freezing because I'm on XFCE and I find the performance on here is a lot better, so hopefully I won't have any of the performance issues that I normally get on GNOME shell. I believe though that it's quite likely that the performance issues are coming from an extension, so I will try to see what I can determine from disabling some extensions and such, see what the problem is there. Alright, so today, as I said, I'm going to be working on this framework, Anole CSS, and what I'm going to start with is just going through some of the documentation pages to see if I miss anything and if there's anything that I need to update in the CSS itself. But in a general sense, what I've been doing recently, if you check the GitHub page, you'll see that I have been converting everything to use variables wherever possible, because Anole basically runs on variables, or at least that is the intention and the plan for Anole to run on variables, so that you can very quickly theme it and change just about everything without having to rewrite the entire framework like how you would have had to do before with some frameworks, like maybe say like older versions of Bootstrap. I mean, you could have obviously edited the Sass source files and stuff, but Anole is pure CSS, no preprocessors used whatsoever. So yeah, I've been using some of the newer features of CSS, including custom properties, aka variables, and that's how it will be possible to so quickly edit pretty much everything. And some of the features that you can see, like this sidebar here, are going to be changed eventually, but I still have to rethink how some of those are going to be changed, because like sidebars, for instance, can't work on mobile in the way that I have them here, so I'm going to be changing some of that. But today I also want to add some very basic media queries, such as disabling animations on certain devices and such, because I'm taking accessibility a lot more seriously recently, so I'm going to be working on that shortly. Alright, so as I said, I'm going to just go through some of the documentation pages and see if there's anything I need to fix. I think this page here definitely needs fixing. Which one is this? This is boxes. Looks like the navigation on here is broken. Yeah, because definitely I'm no longer using divs to do my navigation. This will tell you how old an old is in a sense. And this should be further down the page too. Small tip: if you are building a website and you want your nav to automatically be above everything else, drop it at the bottom of the page. Even if it has a fixed position, you can drop it at the bottom of the page. If it doesn't have a fixed position, then you can't use that trick, because obviously where it is in the file will actually make a difference. Now, a small note about a note for those who are unfamiliar, which I guess is pretty much everyone. I designed it so that it adapts based on where you put things. So, like, if you nest a class with another class, it changes how it behaves and that kind of stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I'm switching to using custom properties wherever possible, because it will mean that basically you can change the behavior of pretty much anything without having to rewrite everything. Oh, small note, I forgot to add this to my new channel artwork, but for those who don't know, I'm using music from Creators Lib on YouTube. I'm going to drop the link to the playlist in the chat right now, so you can check it out. If you're on Twitter, I won't be able to drop any links in chat because there is no chat. At least not for me, there isn't. If you're watching on a mobile device, obviously there is, but for me there's no chat on Twitter, so I can't drop it in there. Alright, I was looking at my other screen, by the way, for those who are wondering what's going on over here. I did not freeze. I was actually checking the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I need to fix anything else on this page. Everything looks pretty good. So let me move on to another page quickly and check. Oh wait, I forgot to check one thing here. Is navigation? Yeah, navigation is not actually working. So let me just check these links quickly. Oh, I see what happened. These don't actually have links. Alright, it's under getting started. I know this part isn't CSS itself, but I still need to fix the documentation. This is one of the not so fun parts of developing anything, is that you have to actually write documentation. So you're getting to see some of the boring half of this. I'm actually surprised at how little is broken on this, because I've been working so much on the CSS itself in recent months and not taking a look at the actual result of it, that I haven't really been checking to see if things are working as they should still, and that's good to see. I haven't been able to touch this in a little while actually. Okay, this is broken. But at least these, okay, these work, but they need some work. So what I'm going to do, open the CSS file again and see if I can track these down and fix them. Okay, so the problem I have here is I'm using height as the method of animation, which is not recommended, and so I'm going to change this to use transform instead. So, alright, let me leave height there, and let me change this one to transform scale Y 0. That should do the trick. Alright, one thing I forgot to do, transform origin. So I'm going to add a transform origin property. And for down, I need it to be bottom, so that it will come down to the bottom. Right, there we go. Now, since this code is actually duplicated, what I can do is, let me delete all of this. I'm glad that I can do this. I can actually remove some excess code and drop this up here. And now I can share the same properties for those. And I can also remove all of this, I believe. Now what I can do is copy these. I'm going to move the transform origin down, drop these here, duplicate this, move it up, and alright, that should fix it. So I forgot to change the transform origin for up to top. Right, there we go. Much better. So not only do we get a better result, but we also get to reduce some code. And I mean, I know it was already pretty fast, but it's even faster now by reducing that code. Oh, and you're welcome, by the way, Martin. I did not realize earlier that, well, I didn't remember or think about the fact that I would have made it seem like I was frozen, because I was totally caught up in checking the chat and stuff like that. That's one of the benefits and also problems of having two screens, but they're kind of far apart, so sometimes I forget to check. I wonder. Okay, I can't share some of these properties for the others. but what I can share is the opacity and transition duration, although the transition duration should probably be a variable, so I'm going to change that. But in order to do that, I'm going to actually split this and work in two different windows technically. Alright, here they are. These are the transitions that we work with. So the variable that I want is this one. Null transition slow. By the way, the pronunciation that I'm using is technically incorrect because the word is annoli in the original language, and I like to respect indigenous languages, so I should be saying annoli, but I got so accustomed having been corrected on the pronunciation only to find out that the corrected pronunciation is actually incorrect. So all that to say that the spelling of annul is correct, but my pronunciation is actually incorrect, despite it being my own framework. Oh, and this opacity, I can also make this a variable, so let me write a new one for this. This will be, should I make this a shared variable across? Let me see, what are these called again? Alright, and reveal. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep it to and reveal. I was gonna make it a global variable, which is kind of neither here nor there. Just grouping things really and naming conventions that I'm trying to follow. So this will be and reveal opacity, or better yet, and reveal active opacity. And since this is a whole new category of stuff, I'm going to drop this somewhere down here. Also, it is pretty far down the alphabetical order, and I'm trying to keep things in alphabetical order, so let me keep it down here. If I don't need variables, just and reveal should do it. Now I can copy this one and put it inside of the property here. Now you'll notice nothing really changes over here, but refactoring the code like this is pretty important for making things work as they should in the future. So basically what will happen is that let's say you wanted to change just this particular thing here, you wouldn't have to come down in the code and find where it is actually located. You just copy this part right here. Like say if you wrote a separate CSS file to customize your project and just change that one variable, and everything cascades down to everything else in the project, which is similar to what I did actually in some real world projects. Sorry, I get tongue twisted. And I can actually show you that right now. So let me see if I can find it. I have so many websites in here, mostly personal projects, but still. Alright, so I have a kind of semi-blog in here called Let's Talk, and it has, oh wait, it's not under this folder, it's in CSS, right? It actually uses a null, and it has some of the stuff customized. But this, I think this was actually before I started using variables, so yeah, it's probably not going to show it here. I just sort of decided to override things here, so not that one. Let me use the other one that I can remember doing it with more recently, since I started transitioning to variables. This is actually my church's website. I believe it should be in here somewhere. Why am I not? Oh, there it is. It was staring me right in the face and I couldn't see it. Right, this is what I was talking about. So you see, I only have to copy these variables right here, and I can change a whole bunch of stuff in Anole. So let me actually show you what that looks like on the Spirit and Truth Ministries website. Not the